Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest GFS, GEM, ECMWF, then we'll have a look at GFS ensembles, and then we'll have a look at some various temperature charts, as we're looking like we're going to be going into a quite hot spell of weather, with for many areas we will be reaching heatwave thresholds. It's going to be very dry as well, so it's going to be very pleasant conditions over the next week, and hopefully long-term trends look like it might continue beyond the next week. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, links in the description. So if we look at the latest GFS, you can see at the moment we're sort of in between sort of weather systems. We've got that low pressure that gave us some big thunderstorms and heavy rain in the south and southeast yesterday, and even some lighter rain, lighter and more persistent rain further northwards. It's now spreading out into the near continent, and higher pressure is starting to build in, an extension of the Azores High. Now, there has still been some cloud and some showers around, but over the course of this evening, high pressure really is taking control with light winds, and it's causing clear skies and some very nice, pleasant conditions. Tomorrow will be again very pleasant. Temperatures will start to be on the up as high pressure does take over. Now, I can't rule out the odd shower here or there, as we do have a bit of a north or northeasterly wind coming in tomorrow. But generally, most areas will be dry, and hopefully cloud will break up. As ever, when you do have a bit of a northerly wind, you're not in the exact centre of a high. There is always going to be some cloud coming in off the cooler North Sea. But hopefully many areas will see some sunshine in the day. Temperatures will be on the rise tomorrow, and they'll be even hotter by Friday as the centre of the high comes over. If we do have a look at the 850 HPA temperatures, you can see temperatures around 13 degrees, 850 HPA, and the general rule of thumb is you add around 10 to 15 degrees onto that. So we're looking at around mid-20s, maybe even higher 20s in favourable areas. As we head towards the weekend, we do actually start to suck up some hotter air from the near continent, potentially 15 or 16 or even 17 degree isotherm gets through. Now, there's quite a lot of uncertainty between that. It definitely does look like we're going to be bringing up some hotter air, but it really depends on the orientation of the high pressure. See, the centre is just to our north and to our east. Centre's just sort of near northeast England, southern Scotland, and it's dragging in a sort of a southeasterly wind. Now, it's quite a subtle southeasterly wind, but nevertheless, southeasterly wind bringing up hotter air from the near continent. If we shifted that high pressure a bit further northwards and westwards, we'd be starting to pull in a more of a northeasterly wind, which would bring air more off the North Sea. Even if it is coming from the continent, it will have a longer track over the North Sea, so temperatures will be a little bit cooler. So we'll just have to really keep an eye on that towards the weekend, but it's definitely looking like mid to high 20s quite widely come this weekend. As we head to next week, there comes more uncertainty, as it's looking likely that an area of low pressure is going to develop in the Bay of Biscay, so in near Iberia, heading into sort of France. Now, on this current GFS, it does impact southern England, and with hot air in place, it could cause a thundery breakdown in about 7-8 days' time. But other models and other ensemble members are keeping things a bit drier. So that's why I say next 7 days does look very dry and hot. Beyond that, there are encouraging signs it may continue, but again, there are the potential for this sort of pesky low to develop, which would bring more rain, cloud, and probably slightly cooler temperature, even though we are generally staying in the hotter air mass. But you can see on this current GFS, low pressure does firmly take over, and that high pressure is shunted out in Scandinavia, raising temperatures for them. Parts of Finland, Norway could be seeing some very high temperatures, getting up into high 20s, 30 degrees, whereas the UK would be a little bit cooler, probably low 20s with more low pressure. But again, we're getting to sort of daytime and beyond, so things are getting quite uncertain. If we do near the end of the run, high pressure does continually try to push back in, and by 384 hours, high pressure is back in control with quite warm temperatures once again, with very slack winds again. It'll be fairly pleasant. So if we do see how that does compare to the GEM, we'll look at 850 HPA temperatures. If we run through the next stage, see that high pressure does build in with quite warm upper air temperatures. By Saturday, Sunday, you can see we do start to pull in some hotter air. You can see the centre of that of the high is a bit further westward. So even though we are pulling in that 15, 16, maybe even 70 degree isotherm, it is coming more off the North Sea. So I suspect in the east, at least, temperatures to be a little bit lower, especially towards northeast coast as well. So these sort of subtle changes in the weather models with just the exact position of the high pressure and surface level winds that could cool temperatures down a little bit in the east. But at the moment, I'll probably say western areas are probably favourable for the hottest temperatures, but we'll just have to keep an eye on the exact position of the high. Beyond that, you can see temperatures do maintain very hot. Temperatures are very hot. High pressure is firmly over to the UK by early next week. And as we see, that pesky low does start to develop. Now, it does start to develop a little bit later. We get another day or two at least out of the hotter spell. And the low maintains further southwards and doesn't really push into the UK. And high pressure just stays in control in GM. Yes, we're not over the centre of the high, so there's more mixing in off the Atlantic. Winds will be coming in from the west. There'll probably be more cloud and maybe a few showers, but generally things will be a lot drier than if we did have that low pressure system move in. And you can see upper air temperatures still quite hot in the east, so we still could see some very warm temperatures there. So you can see how we're unsure at the exact breakdown of this high pressure at 7 days. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. If we do have a look at the ECMWF, if we do run it through the next few days, you can see that high pressure does build in with warm upper air temperatures. You can see again the high is a bit further northwards and westwards, which are going to be dragging in winds from more of an easterly direction. So this is definitely favouring cooler temperatures in the east, hottest temperatures in the west. By no means the temperature is going to be cold in the east, still probably be low to mid 20s, but just probably won't hit the peak of high 20s or 30 degrees. And then by Tuesday, high pressure is still firmly in control and with quite warm conditions. And you can see that low never really develops. And actually by the end of the run, we do start to pull in southeasterly winds. Now a little low pressure system looking like it may be developing on the near continent, producing some thunderstorms. But at the same time, it's dragging up hotter air into the southeast. And we could start to go into some very very hot conditions, even hotter than this upcoming spell. Maybe even get into the mid-30s if we start to see that 20-degree isotherm move through. So all models showing very warm and dry the next 7 days. And after that, all really different. GFS going unsettled, stormy, with big thunderstorms probably, especially in the south, and cooler. GM going potentially a little bit more unsettled, but generally still quite hot and settled, especially further northwards. And eastwards towards the centre of that high, and the ECMWF potentially bringing in even hotter temperatures. And if we do have a look at the temperature deviation, you can see warmer than average conditions around 4 or 6 degrees, potentially above average, maybe even get up to 8 degrees above average, moving in to southern England. So we just have to keep an eye on sort of 7 to 10 day forecast. If we have a look at the GFS ensembles, you can see that's well reflected. You can see over the next 3-4 days, we see a very steep rise in 850 HPA temperatures, up from around 8 degrees today, up to around 14 or 15 degrees by the end of the working week into the weekend, with temperatures at the moment looking like they're going to be peaking around Sunday or Monday at 850 HPA. Now you can see it's very dry across that period, and we're only really seeing any significant precipitation signals in about 7-8 days' time, where there are precipitation signals coming in, as well as some members going a bit cooler. But you can see the majorities do stay well above the average line, and it doesn't look like a massive deluge is coming unless we do go with the GFS operational one, where you can see here not massive spikes, but again the operational run in this sort of time frame does underdo sort of the convection potential. So I suspect in that scenario there would be a lot more rainfall than this GFS is showing, but it is an outlier. Most are staying dry, warm for the foreseeable future, only really towards the sort of 10 to 14 day range, which is the uncertain range where we get the most sort of uncertainty. It does look like things may be returning to around average, but again, they're still very hot on summer members and very cool on summer members and unsettled on summer members in that long term, as we probably would expect. But it's looking very dry. and very warm over the next 7 to 10 days, which is a bit of a turn than what we've seen recently, where we haven't really had a very settled and hot spell so far this summer. If we have a look at the supermeter temperatures, now they do underdo it a little bit on the ensemble members. They don't quite get the microclimates and urbanisation as well. As the short range and operational models, they have less resolution. So if we have a look, you can see over the next sort of 3, 4, 5 days, temperature is going to steadily rise by maybe a degree or 2 per day, starting around maybe 23, 24 tomorrow, before getting up to maybe 27, 28 by this weekend, and potentially, given those exact upper air temperatures and exact locations and the exact surface winds, we could be seeing 30, maybe 31 degrees in a few spots. At the moment, I'd probably favour western areas, but you can't rule out eastern areas if that wind does come from a more southeasterly direction, where it's not coming quite off the cool North Sea and more off the sort of the English Channel. But in the longer term, temperatures still do look very high, but a lot more spread does come. So it's looking very encouraging over the next week. So we do run through the temperature charts for the GFS just over the next sort of week or so, just to see how that progresses. So by Wednesday, 23, 24 degrees perhaps. Thursday, 15th of July, potentially maybe 22, 23 degrees, maybe 24, 25 in some spots. Friday, getting up to 26, 27, again in northern areas, favouring the temperatures there. And then by Saturday, we start to see very hot conditions, perhaps 26, 27 degrees. And you see Scotland, where you've got lighter winds, and parts of northwest England getting favoured for the higher temperatures. And then by Sunday, if we get to sort of 3 p.m, you can see it widespread 26, 27, or maybe even 28 or 29 degrees in western areas, sort of northwestern areas, even 27 degrees in northern areas, where we do have lighter winds. And by Monday, 26, 27 degrees before things do look like they're going to slowly cool down for the middle of the week as that low pressure system moves in. But again, I'm a little bit not particularly confident about that low pressure system moving in on that GFS run. It does look like a bit of an outlier at this stage. If we have a look at the GEM, which has been a very optimistic model in temperatures over the last sort of few days of looking at it, but I do suspect that it's just reflecting sort of the warmer end of the ensemble. So if we do go through it, you can see tomorrow afternoon temperatures getting around 23, 24 degrees. By Thursday afternoon, maybe 24, 25 degrees. And then by Friday, favouring western areas, like we thought from looking at the pressure charts, 26, 27 degrees in many western and southwestern areas. A bit cooler further east, maybe only 18, 19, 20 degrees, as we've got more of a North Sea breeze. And then by Saturday, again, very hot in the west, 27, 28 degrees. Now, in the east, still inland areas going to see 23, 24, maybe even get up to 26, 27 degrees. Just really on the coast is where we could be seeing some cooler temperatures. So we just really have to keep an eye out for that. But it's looking very good conditions for the British Grand Prix and the Open down in Royal St George's. So beautiful conditions for both those sporting events for this weekend. But if we do have a look at overnight temperatures, that's one thing we've got to keep an eye on. Luckily, being in the east, with that more of an easterly breeze, you can see temperatures getting around to maybe 11, 12 degrees overnight. Whereas further west, you see maybe a bit more muggy, 14, 15, 16 degrees, perhaps further north, maybe 16 or 17 degrees. So feeling pretty muggy there. And as we head into Sunday afternoon, widely 28, 29 degrees, or even higher, feeling very hot. And again, across those North Sea coast, maybe only 22, 23 degrees. And then Monday, again, another hot day, 28, 29 degrees before Tuesday. A more widespread hot day, as it looks like we're cutting off that sort of easterly breeze and seeing potentially 30 degrees in sort of the West Midlands. So very hot conditions there. And Wednesday, again, another hot day, favouring more southeastern areas where we could see 30 degrees as the winds veer more from a westerly. If we look at the more high resolution models in the Icon, and then we'll have a look at the UK Met Office run, only go up to 120 hours, so only till Sunday, but does give a more accurate representation of what we could see, especially in city centres. So if we move through Wednesday, 23, 24, maybe even 25 degrees in London. Through Thursday, there's potential again of 24, 25 degrees, but it's really by Fridays where we start to see temperatures really start to pick up, maybe 26, 27 degrees in the southeast, maybe again in the west, maybe 26 degrees or so. And And then through Saturday, again, temperatures getting up 25, 26, 27 degrees more widely. You see not as much of an easterly breeze on the Icon run, so temperatures around 24, 25 degrees even on eastern coastal areas. Quite a muggy night overnight, Sunday, getting to around only 18, 19 or even 20 degrees in London. That just shows you what that easterly breeze does help out, as we saw with the GEM. More of an easterly breeze meant temperatures in the east were 5 degrees cooler in the overnight Saturday into Sunday, so it could be uncomfortable for sleeping if we do get these conditions. And then 26, 27 degrees at midday on Sunday potentially will be rising higher than that, give it a few more hours of heating. If we lastly have a look at the UK Met Office run, again, high resolution model, so it should forecast this decently well. It's the main model used by the UK Met Office, so it's what they use for their apps and their video forecasts and their warnings. So it should give a very good representation of what we should be seeing this over the next sort of week or so. So if we have a look at Wednesday afternoon temperatures, if we go to sort of 4 p.m, even going for 25, 26 degrees tomorrow Met Office in London area, which is quite warm indeed, a bit warmer than the other models, but potentially clocking onto more of urbanisation, heat sort of getting trapped in the city. If we do move through to Thursday afternoon, temperatures around 23, maybe 24 degrees. And as we head through to Friday, you can see temperatures again, maybe 25, 26, or even 27 degrees in the west. So a little bit warmer there as we head through Friday. Will temperatures really pick up through Saturday, where we could be seeing again 26, 27 degrees quite widely in the west. A bit cooler in the east with that easterly breeze. But widely, most areas in the British Isles are seeing some quite warm, even hot conditions, even parts of northeast Scotland, 24, 25 degrees. Maybe northwest Scotland not getting quite the best conditions, perhaps getting a bit of a sea breeze there. And then as we head into Sunday, 3 p.m. Sunday, potentially seeing 30 degrees in the north. Probably that's where the UK Met Office model sees the centre of the high. So not seeing any winds there. As you can see in the southeast, maybe only 90 degrees with that easterly breeze. But in that centre of the high, wherever that does set up, that's where we're going to be seeing the highest temperatures. And 29 or 30 degrees is very possible in sort of the North Midlands, coming into northern England and into northeast England. So very hot conditions we could be seeing over the next week. I'll update you every day. At the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to be any record breaking or anything, but just nice, pleasant summer British heatwave conditions. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.